Hello, hello. I am on a weight loss journey, and let me tell you, I am 52, and I never knew that losing weight past 50 would be as hard as it is. Frustrated with the scale. Working out regularly. Doing a lot of cardio. Eating whole foods. But there are things that I realized that I was doing wrong, and I am here to tell you, don't make these mistakes. No! Don't do it! Mistake number one is eating too many carbs. Let me tell you, before my weight loss journey, I was living the carb life. Everything was carbs. I loved carbs. And every diet restriction that I have been on, I pretty much eliminated carbs. And that is why I couldn't keep up with the diet. And so what I have learned over the age of 50 is I can still love carbs and not totally cut carbs out, but I just have to eat a lot less carbs. My goal has been to keep my carbs under 100 carbs. So I don't eat more than 100 carbs, and if I do, I consider that a heavy carb day. The main reason I'm able to get that in is because I have cut carbs at night. I started my weight loss journey in February, and I didn't really get this and start implementing this until I would say June-ish, July. I realized that I was losing weight, but I wasn't losing at the pace that I wanted to lose. Even though I want to lose slow and steady, there was some weeks when I just did not lose at all. I was like stuck in a stall, I call it. And so once I started implementing cutting back the carbs, especially at night, that is when I started to see results. And I was tracking with the MyFitnessPal app, and that really helped me narrow in on what I was doing wrong as far as my diet and where I was overeating. We need carbs. It gives us energy, but carbs holds on to water. And water in a woman over 50's body, in any woman's body, but especially when you're over 50, hanging on to that excess water is just not good. You're bloated everywhere. You know, you have water retaining in your ankles and your feet and everywhere you don't want the water to be. So we just have to watch those carbs. That would be my first mistake. And how I fixed it, I switched to under 100 carbs a day. The second mistake we make is eating late. Now, I know any doctor would probably tell you, and any person who's been on a weight loss journey, calories in and calories out. And I do understand that in the cycle of 24 hours, but I am going to venture to say, even though I am not a doctor, but I think it makes all the difference in the world to cut off your eating at a certain point. It has nothing to do with intermittent fasting, and I understand that's a strategy as well, or a tool in your tool belt you can use. But when you cut that eating off, it allows your body to actually feed off the fat, especially if you're not eating excess carbs and sugar. It also gives your digestive system a break and lets your digestive system do its job. And so cut off that eating at 7:30. I would say no later than 8. I try to go for 7. My daughter comes home from school immediately. I start cooking or preparing whatever we're going to eat. And I'm usually eating by 5:30, 6 o'clock. Now, that was not my schedule before. There were times when I didn't eat till like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I stay up a little bit later than I should. And so I still wasn't giving myself that 3 hours before bed to let the food digest. And I would actually say if you can go earlier than 7, sometimes I don't eat after 6:30. There are days when I don't eat past 6, and it just, oh gosh, it makes all the difference. And then if I really get hungry, instead of eating something, you can always grab a piece of fruit or a vegetable, celery sticks, I don't know, whatever vegetable you like. I would go for that protein shake because my goal is to actually get in more protein. And so that's another thing you can do. You can opt for a protein shake or something protein based because it's going to keep you fuller for a longer period of time. It's going to digest slowly in your system. And if you're working on building muscles, it's going to help with that as well. So I would say if you can't do 6:30, 7 o'clock, 7:30, let 8 o'clock be the latest that you eat. So weight loss mistake number 3 when you're over 50 is not strength training. And a lot of people just stick with cardio. And we've always been told cardio is great for your heart. And I'm sure it is. I know it is. And it does help to get that heart rate up and to get you moving. But to maintain muscle mass, you have to do some weight training. And that was a big mistake I was making, and I am in the process of actually reversing that and actually starting to lose weight. The thing about weight loss when you're over 50 is you have all these hormonal changes going on. Your body is in transition. And people often, I think, look at me like, why is she so tired? Well, I'm tired because my body is changing. I'm going through a transition period. And so I'm not going to have the same energy level as I did when I was in my 30s and 40s. I'm not going to have the same energy level that I did even a couple years ago when I just turned 50. The older you get, you can feel it. I remember older women who I thought were older would tell me years ago, just wait till you get 50. Anytime I would say something, they would say, but you're not 50. And I remember Oprah Winfrey's famous saying when someone was talking about weight loss, and she said, and I don't know if it was Beyonce, but I think she said Beyonce is not 50. And now I can relate. There was also a lady I worked with. I want to say she's probably in her late 70s now. And she even told me herself, she said, whatever you do, try to lose weight before you get 50. She said, when you get 50, it is going to be so much harder to take off. Your body does a noticeable change. I have to admit that she was right. You know, you hear that a lot of times. You don't always believe it until you get there. So I am feeling fabulous at 50. I am 41 pounds down and counting. My goal is to lose another 59 pounds. And once I lose that 59 pounds, I probably will continue from there. But that's my first goal, my ultimate goal that I have in sight. If you stay for this long, even if you're not over 50, subscribe to my channel, root me on. If you're on a weight loss journey, let's encourage each other. Comment below, let me know your weight loss stories, whether you're 30, 40, 50, I don't care what age you are, all is welcome here. But just know, once you get 50, it's a little tougher to take off that weight. All right, remember, slow and steady wins the race. Just don't quit.